Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, period. Folks, it's your man always, George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, can you believe it? It's still the morning for me because it's just almost the noon time. But this lady here, it's a different time zone for her. It's still like about early in the evening for her. You recognize her. She's been a guest on my channel before. She is not only an Olympian, a master Olympian. She's an amazing lady, the lovely Sandra. I don't want to mess up her name because but no, Sandra. Sandra is been competing for quite some time, and this year she made a return after taking last year off. Sandra did both the Toronto Super Show and the Imperial in Spain, where in Toronto she was in the top 5 for women's physique, at the in the open class, and she won her first Master Olympia qualification for next year, for 2027. So we're going to welcome Sandra and we'll talk to her what the plans are now coming into that she's a Master Olympian. And, the spirits like this year. I mean, she was busy. She did 2 shows. Other than last year, she did Olympia. Well, 2024, she did Olympia. She did the Imperial, where she won her first qualification. But this year, she did at least 2 shows, and possibly this year, in another. So thank you, Sandra. I appreciate your time for coming through.
Yes, thank you very much, George, for this opportunity to have this interview and to share a little bit my experiences and the next steps.
Yeah. Are you still working with the computer nerds?
Yes, still, yes. I'm also project and process manager, so it's not only the computer work that I have. I also have a lot of meetings with different people, and it gives me insight in different kinds of businesses. Yes, and this is very fun,
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's a good job. So this is a big question. Why did you choose Toronto? Because you could have just did Imperial, or also there was a couple other shows. Like also there was the Portugal. Why Toronto first out of those shows?
The thing is, with my job, we usually have to announce like in October, November, what the plans are for next year, because I do projects. So I need to plan forward what projects I want to take and when the deadlines are. So I always have to say, like in October, November, what is the plan for next year? And Toronto and also the Emperor are both shows that the date is pretty fixed and it is announced pretty early. Like for Toronto, we know it, 1 year ahead when the date is, So for me, all other shows are like a little bit in the wind because it's not, the date is not really set until December or January when the plan of the IFBB Pro League comes out. So my decision was then I will go for sure for Toronto and then Emperor, and then I will see if I have time or what's other on the schedule, what could be interesting.
Yeah, because I think usually when the list comes out, like the end of December, early January, and don't really get finalized till like I think around about the end of January, because sometimes I remember I saw some shows that was on the list before, and then next thing you know, those shows were gone. And yes. And it changes so often. As you know, Chicago just wrapped up last weekend. And at one point, women's bodybuilding was on the list. Then they dropped it. Then they brought back women's, Master Olympia qualification. And it's just, it just keeps changing so often. As you know, for this year, I think Physique lost a couple of shows. We're in bodybuilding lost quite a few. And then you have the debut of the new division, Fit Model. I have nothing against those ladies competing, but I'm just not a fan.
Yes. This is the thing. If they drop some competitions or they change the schedule, everybody of us, we do like 16 to 24 weeks prep usually. And, it is difficult to just keep continuing that. Maybe if you're younger, this is easier. Or if you are in this fitness industry as a job, it is easier. But for most of us, it's difficult. So you cannot get prepped within 8 weeks. I mean, this was also with Puerto Rico, with the Masters show. They announced it like in, I don't know, February or something like that it's an April show. So they don't have to ask themselves why there are not so many competitors, because the time to get prepped for a show on this level is too short. And also like Chicago, there were not so many competitors. Yeah, in masters women's bodybuilding, there for instance one or two competitors. So they don't have to ask why is that like this, you know.
Yeah, because if you don't give that person time when they're prepared for a show, because I know a lady who I talked to, she was prepared for Chicago, and then when it was taken off the list, she said, "Well, I'm changing my mind." And then when it put back on the Masters, she says, "Well, it's too late. I'm already off my prep, so she's gonna shoot for another show for, I think she's planning on doing Tampa, which is coming up, and that can really mess up because your body is very most important part of your existence, and you want to be careful what you're doing as a prep because it can be really stressful physically and mentally, and you know that from experience firsthand.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So now you won the Master Olympic qualification. What was it like? How you feeling today? What are you excited? Are you ready? Because you're going to step on with the stage with these amazing ladies in the Masters division.
Yeah, it was so much fun. I went to Toronto to just have this experience on stage again, and just to be around people who have the same passion and love the sport. And what placing you have is secondary. Everybody of us is good, and it comes up to the judges. So I was just happy to be on stage and to be in the shape that I was super happy about. I was in the best shape uh, ever, I think. And to win was just, just a little bit more on the top of the Black Forest cake, like the cherry on the Black Forest cake. And I was super happy about that. I didn't, well, you dream a little bit about that, but I didn't expect that. So I was there. I won those 2 medals here and the crown and everything. And then I was there and was thinking, oh, and there was this big trophy. I don't know if you see that in the background.
I think
This
so,
big
yeah.
trophy here for the winner. I was thinking, oh damn, I need a new suitcase for carrying that home.
I know. I know. I think one time one lady said that what she had to do was she had a trophy so big because you can't, TSA and all that stuff like that. You couldn't carry on the plane, so she had it expedited to her house, by delivery. And it got there. It got a little broken up, so you had to get it fixed later. But you got to be careful with that. But yeah,
Yes.
because you know what? I mean, there was some top ladies in your division. One lady who sticks out most definitely. Lady's been a guest on my channel before, the lovely Mrs. Robin Mays. As you know, Robin just turned 60 just I think earlier this month. And also she won Olympic qualification and master qualification at that show last year. And you held your own against a woman who was just, I would say, has amazingly great physique for her age.
Yeah, seriously, like I have the biggest respect for her and the other athletes who stepped there. And she was really I mean, for 60 to have this shape and this skin and everything, this is really beautiful and awesome. I mean, very much respect of that.
Yeah, you gotta respect it. Like I said, it takes a lot of hard work. Again, we go back to how people think about women who do bodybuilding. Everybody's always going to say something. Well, if you take steroids, that's how you do it. No, that's not enough. If you don't stick to your diet, if you're not consistent, if you don't train, and don't also pay attention to your recovery, your health, blood work is very important. It's so much involved to it. It's not as easy as everybody think it is or assume it is.
Yes, this is the thing that most people, when they join a gym, they think, oh, you can, yeah, be ready in, I don't know, a few weeks. This is not the truth because it's like, you know, you have to work every day. And these are the little things that add up. It's not one single thing that makes you a champion or the best. It are the little things that are the right things for your body that bring you one step further to be a champion or to be a winner. And a little bit of luck.
Yeah, it takes time. He's patient. It's not as easy as I think about it. But one thing was about Toronto was the stories I was hearing from some lady back the stage. Y'all had a time. I mean, the show was supposed to start at 10. I think it started at 10, and then at one point the finals was supposed to be at 4. Then they
Yes.
moved to 6, and I didn't see y'all do your finals till like almost midnight.
Yes. Well, the thing, it was like that. Usually it is like that, that the prejudging is in the same order as the finals. But the day before I don't know why what the reason was, but the day before they said like, "Oh, we change the order at the finals." So at prejudging, women's physique and women's bodybuilding was pretty at the beginning, and at the finals it was at the end. So we were thinking, okay, it will be a long day. But then it started, you know, we women, we need makeup and we need hair and everything. So actually it started for me and Branka, who was in women's bodybuilding, at 2 a.m. in the morning with makeup and hair, until we got for the prejudging on stage. They started at 10, but they had a delay. So it was like, I was like 10:40 or something like that on stage for prejudging. And then the finals, or the prejudging kept forever. They had like the finals started, I think, at 6:30 or 7 in the evening, something like that. And actually, I was back on stage, I think 20 to midnight, something like that. And it was really sad because it was Sunday evening. Next day, most people have to work or have other plans like sleeping or whatever. So you went on stage and there were like 20 people outside, and they were like, it was already cold backstage. They were packing and everything. They didn't have heating. And you're like, oh, for what I'm doing this? Nobody's watching.
Yeah, that's bad because I know some ladies had to find some place to eat afterwards because I
Yes.
think I saw that there was a post that Sheena Odik posted. She said she had to find this place. It was like a little restaurant. I think it was an Indian restaurant that was in I think close to 2 o'clock,
Mhm.
and she was able to find that. Some ladies just really, I think it was really hectic. I think how somebody would say you should prepare for something like that to happen. But I think usually Toronto usually runs a little bit more smoother. I think the one thing was that I think because this year the point system has changed, where in which that you for the other divisions like bikini, I think also men's classic, I call it men's figure. That's men's classic, men's bikini. That's men's physique, and bikini and wellness now have to do like 2 or more shows to qualify. And I think Toronto's a first tier show. And then also Toronto be the show where if you get your pro card, you can jump on board and make your pro debut the same day. I think that could have been it when you had so many competitors at that one time because I think it wasn't prepared. One thing they could do is this. Chicago used to do it. I know Tampa does it. They have the master competitors the day before, and they just compete to see who gets the master qualification. And if those same master competitors compete, they can just do the open show the next day.
Yes, but in the end, they were telling us we have so many pro athletes. These are over 250 pro athletes. But when I was amateur, I was at shows, we had 400, 500 people competing. And they were able to make this happen in a day. You just have to stick on your schedule and not to make so long breaks and not to speak so long. I'm sorry, but it is, the thing is, especially for a professional, you have the list of professional who is competing. You know who is coming, how many competitors are in a division, and you can make your calculation and say, listen, this division has so many minutes, this division has so many minutes, and I'm sure you can stick to a plan. So I'm giving this ball back to the promoter and the organization that as we are professional and stepping professional on stage, they should be also professional and take care that they are on a schedule.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh, we have your comments here. Shout out to here. This is I put my old man glasses on, so I'm getting. He says, "This is my man Nodos." He says, "Shout out to him." He says, "Hi to everyone. Hi to you, Nodos." Also, he says, "Sandra, hello from Croatia." Shout out
Oh,
to our dear friend, the lovely
okay.
Mrs. Blanca Najogovic,
Well
who's from Croatia. Also, he says this. He says, "When did you start lifting weights?" And also, he says, "How old was you when you started to enter bodybuilding world?" I think if you want to know, well, we did interview before, but he has seen it. Well, tell him when you start, so he gets to know.
Yes, I started 2011 just to join the gym and to train because I wanted to reshape my body, to lose a bit weight, as every woman does it, when she gets older. And then I saw there was a gym with pictures of people competing there, and I was thinking, I want to have a goal, and I just wanted. I asked one coach who was there. I asked him, "Well, can I step on stage and do a show just to be, a little bit shredded and nice shape, whatever?" And he said yes. So. 2011 started just in the gym training, and 2013 was my first show that I did. I was 30 that time. So, yes, that was the start. And then, yeah, I stayed into bodybuilding. I was thinking, I can do that better. And then 7 years later, I got my pro card, and then yeah, a few years later, got the Olympia ticket, and here I am.
Yeah, it's a journey for everybody who gets in this sport. The work you have to put in, the consistency you have to cut in, and and it's. I would say like this. Shout out to my man K. He explained like this. Bodybuilding is not much of a sport. It's like a discipline because you have to be very disciplined when it comes to your training, comes to your diet, and then the opportunity to go something like the Olympia, I mean, and that was, as you know, that was the last year for your dear friend, our dear friend, the lovely Mrs. Helen Trevino. That was the last Olympia 2024. What was that experience like being there with her? And this was your first time at the Big O.
Yes, you know, it is always difficult. If you are in a prep, you're at this time, you're very exhausted, and the emotions are so a little bit up and down. So it is, you know, I have to say, I didn't really have the joy that I was thinking. It was more like a struggle for me at the Olympia. First of all, because I went pretty early to the States, 6 weeks earlier, because I was thinking to get ready in the States and to train there. But for me, it was very difficult with the food. I didn't tolerate that, and yeah, it was a hard time there, and the emotions went up and down, and I was not in the best shape. I wasn't not in the shape that I wanted to be because the body was so stressed, and so the experience at the Olympia was more like a mixed feeling. And to be honest, I was a little bit disappointed. I was thinking because it was the 60th Olympia, I was thinking they would do something special, something to celebrate those 60 years. But it was like, it was just, you came there, you did the stage thing, and you went. It was not really an appreciation towards the athletes, and also not towards the people that were there. So, and also what I didn't like was it was very pricey. Also, I when I was in Vegas, I had there many people in the gyms who said, "Oh, I wanted to go to see, a show," but the ticket price was about $1,000 or something like that. So it was like I felt sorry because these are people that would come and see a show, but if the prices are so high, nobody wants to come, or not. Those people don't want to come, and these are maybe the people that we need in our sport to make it bigger.
Yeah, because it's expensive. Depending on, like, especially like a show like Olympia, it's the biggest show and event. the cost of the tickets, and depending where you see that. Now, if you sit at the front, you have to get those tickets like first row, like months in advance. They tell you get a months in advance, and you're going to pay like $1,000. And even I know a couple of guys who went there. My man David, he interviewed with David a while back. He went there. Also, his kid I know, his name is Alex. He went there, and I was thinking about going to Olympia, but I I don't have the funds to afford to pay for a trip like that. I mean, I think what Alex had to do, his mom had to find him a decent motel because Alex is a bit autistic, and should have found a decent place to stay. But here was the highlight for me. Alex, shout out to Alex. He got to run. He ran to Ashley Jones, and Ashley Jones gave me a shout out on my channel, and that was great. I mean, I'm a fan of Ashley. It was great to meet her when I went to Tampa last year, and then to have her give me a shout out and get her lip qualification, and then the lineup at that show. I mean, it was amazing ladies. I mean, one lady that she competed against in Imperial that year. I think Paula didn't make her debut till next year, and I know you've heard that she's going to be making her women's bodybuilding debut in next month in Tampa.
Tampa, yes. I'm very looking forward to that. I mean, Paula has grown so much in the last few years, and it's really beautiful to see how these people evolve. And you see the work that they put in, this pays off. And I'm very excited to see how she performs, and I wish her the best of luck.
Yeah, I remember I got to see Paula in at Tampa back in 2025 when she was still doing WPD. That was the year I went to get to see her. She looked pretty good. I feel like being that she's still so young, I think she needs more time to grow, especially jumping over to women's bodybuilding. Because one of the ladies going to be at that show, she made her announcement, Alina Oprah, and you, Alina, were also at the Toronto Super Show. She's got a lot of muscle density. There's also Sheena Olick. She was there in Toronto. Ramos Tomskin, I missed her name. She's gonna be competing there because she made her debut there last year. Sherry Piami, she's returning. I mean, and also Dr. Kina Squarey. Those women have that muscle maturity. They have really grown over time. With Paula, I don't think Paula's not even 30 yet. I feel like, because you beat her back in 2024, and I think you had great muscle density. I think it's one thing that that press judges, right, they put you over her, at Spain.
Yes. I won over her in Spain. It was a very close battle there. But yes, Paula, she is young. She's, I think, not even 30, and she has time to grow and to get even better. I mean, she has grown now pretty much in her lower body parts and her back. She has improved since 24 a lot. But for women's bodybuilding, she needs a little bit more arms or some, the upper body is lacking behind compared to the other competitors. But her quality is she is totally shredded. So, and she has a structure there. So, she has potential.
But just need the time. We have a comment from a man, No Dose, who says this. He says, during this 15 years, what was your best final position?
Well, yes, I won the Empro in 24. I was first place there, and now in Toronto, I won the Masters, and I was third in the Open. So these are the pro shows that I placed the best. At the Olympia, I was 15th. At the Olympia in 24. Yeah, these were my placings.
Well, you at least 15. You didn't have to tie for 16. So take that as the win. I mean, I know we just talked about the stress of the food, everything like that. It kind of probably, maybe
you
mess with you a little bit.
You have to be realistic. I mean, 15 places for me, awesome. I mean, to be at the Olympia means that you're one of the best of the world. So it doesn't really matter about, already if I would have been my best, if I didn't have these stomach problems, maybe I would have be 11, 10, something like that. I'm not the kind, I cannot be like Sarah or Natalia. I cannot beat them. I don't have the shape like that. So I'm happy with what I have. And in every competition I go just to have fun and to do my best. It's not about the placing. The placing is always like, it comes or it doesn't come.
Yeah, I think there's quite a few competitors like yourself who say, I come here because I enjoy competing, I enjoy being on stage with these women, and I enjoy the sport I'm in. I'm not here for the money. I'm not here for maybe getting first place. It's just an opportunity to be a big event like the Olympia. You may not ever get back there again. And you mentioned Sarah. Sarah is a impressive young lady. You were also with Toronto with her, and she made the switch. And I think it was a good move. I mean, she made a debut in 2023, the year before you made yours, when you made your return. And she grew in those last 2.5 years. And I think we talked about the criteria of how, you look at women's physique and women's bodybuilding, it's starting to you know, kind of blend it away where you almost like can't tell the difference between who's physique and who's women's bodybuilding.
Yes, this is the problem that we have nowadays, pretty much with the shows. You don't know what do they judge, which criteria. So Sarah is one of the best examples. 1 week earlier, she won the
Imperial,
show.
the Ultima Classic.
Yeah, so she won the Optimum Classic, qualified for women's physique this year Olympia. And then 1 week later, she was with me on stage and she was fourth behind me. So, I mean, you don't know how they judge. What I have to say about Sarah, she is a lovely person, really. One of the best person, really good heart. We talked a lot. I'm sure she's like a champion mindset, and I'm just happy for her. She will do her way, whatever she does, and she loves what she does, and she does it right. And she's also very young, and it was really, for me, it was nice to have this experience with those athletes and to exchange, because we all share some the same stories and have the same questions and the same topics we are interested in.
Yeah, because you feel a nice bondship of friendship with Bronca, because she talked about you in our last interview we had, and you were. I think you watched the interview, and so you enjoyed the opportunity to hear her story. Well,
Yeah.
how long? Do y'all know each other before the Toronto and Imperial, or you're just
we were each following for years, and my last name is also from former Yugoslavia. And there's some kind of bound. But actually, we met the first time in person last year in Germany at the German Pro Show. She had there an athlete, and I was with a guy from my gym helping him at this show. So we met the first time, and we were like, she asked me like, "Oh, do you want to compete next year?" And I was like, "I don't know. What are your plans?" And they were like joking, if you compete, I compete too. So we stayed in touch, the whole time of the winter. And I texted her, listen, I think I go for Toronto and Spain. And she was like, I go for Spain. And I was like, oh, let's meet there. And then we talk a bit more, and she was like, oh, I jump in from Toronto. I was like, oh, cool, we can do this and this. And actually, we also spent after show some time together. And we were also backstage the whole time. So it was, for me, one of the best experiences just to be with her and to have some fun over all this time.
It's good to find friendships in this sport. I know, especially with somebody who's a different division. Y'all you're both, as you know, both won your Masters qualification. That means y'all get to hang out again when you do the Masters. Oh, whatever it's gonna, we don't know when they're gonna be, because they usually give us make an announcement around this time, because especially for people to get ready. Because if they're going to have it out of the country, if they're going to have it in another country, like Japan, that promoter, he did not pay the winners their money, so now he's banned from doing any shows. I think specifically, just all shows altogether. I had some ladies on, like I had we did a post after Master interview. I had Donna Jones, we had Cher Mears, we had Trish Wood, Tracy Guile, Robin Mays. They talked about they enjoyed because I know you and Hello were together in Japan. What was that experience like for you being in another country like that?
I was not in Japan.
Hello was I know Hello was in Japan. Oh, I thought
Ella
you were.
was in Japan with her athlete Sachi.
Oh yeah, I thought I was thinking because you told me. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry.
No,
Remember my research, folks. But yeah, I think I'm hoping to have it here in the States because I would honestly like to go to the Masters Olympia. If it's here in my own backyard, if like maybe not so much my backyard. If you have it in Florida, where you had the like I talk about to somebody, I say I think the perfect place would be to have it in Orlando because it was from the experience I was talking to ladies who done it when they had the Olympia those last few years. They liked the environment. It was very family friendly. It was more to do, because you've been to Vegas. It's unless you are just a single person like yourself and you can have a good time, play a little play a little gambling, shoot some craps, roll on the poker machines. But if you got kids, it's not a lot to do.
yes. Now I would love to have that in Orlando, Florida.
Yeah.
New place.
We have here a comment from my man Nodos. He says this. I'll give you a second. He says, uh, "What's your favorite show?"
My favorite show. Well, I haven't done so many pro shows to be honest. I have to say that I enjoyed it very much in Toronto, and it's not, for me, it's not really the show because the show is just a few minutes on stage and backstage is every time the same. But I enjoy it with the people, and Toronto was very special. I liked the mentality of the people in the city or wherever you went. They were really open. They were super friendly, and the good thing about Toronto was I also got in touch with Melanie Horton from she's women's bodybuilding competitor. I met Barbara Mogen also in the gym, and we talked a little bit. They were super friendly, super helpful. Melanie helped me so much also in Toronto. Then I had my posing coach. I worked with Mona Porcellet. You know her. She's former 2 times women's bodybuilding Olympian, and she was also best poser award winner, and I worked with her in posing, and it was really a great time to meet her. It's not the show itself what I would say is the best show. It is the surrounding with the people who you meet. But also about the shows, I would say what I like, I'm Swiss. I like if a show is well organized and it is on time. So I'm sorry, but usually the European shows they're a little bit better than the Americans.
Hey. This is America. You talk. It's America. America's here. We take our pride in our country. But I understand because I think it's a little more organized. I think Americans we can be a little bit. Toronto. That's not an American show. So
No, that's
what's
not.
that?
That doesn't count. I don't want to.
Toronto kind of seem like as a bastard. It's like a little bit American, a little bit of Europe. It's how it's seen in a way. But yeah, I think those names you got. Melly, she's gonna be making her return to Tampa next weekend. Barbara, I mean, she's gonna be competing at the Olympia. I think I thought she was on the list for. No, I think she's just doing the Olympia. She's not
No,
the list for the Rising Phoenix. And Mona, I remember when I went to my first bodybuilding show back in 2022, and that was Savannah Pro. And she was there guest posing with Andrea. Oh, and she looked great. She looked like she could have competed that show that day and possibly win, the qualification. I think she already got the qualification later on. But I heard that I was talking with Melanie. Me and Melanie really cool. She told me that right now she took a step away. She got her degree as a massage therapist. She's working on that. I hope we might see her come back, because especially with women's bodybuilding, so few competitors. I mean, I know recently we heard some ladies who decided to retire from bodybuilding. If you heard, you were at Imperial, Anastasia Levinova. She decided to retire, and she's a young lady herself. I mean, I mean, she didn't do as well at Imperial because she took second, and then Portugal showed she won the pass. She took fourth, and we see some ladies in physique stat step away because they talk about how the criteria change. For you, what do you feel like? You feel like there's a timeline for yourself in this sport?
Actually, everybody who knows me know that after the Olympia, I said, well, that was my last show. I will never, ever compete again. And then it took some time, and I was sitting at home. It was winter. It was boring. I was thinking, what do I do in this gym the whole time? And then I was thinking, well, what other hobbies do I have? There was none.
I got nothing. I just got.
So I was thinking, let's do another show. That is to fill my day.
Yeah, I think some women step away for their own personal reasons, for health reasons, or just maybe because they just don't have the love for it anymore. I think you do it for the love of it. I understand there's not a lot of financial gain out of it unless you're the top competitors like Andrea or Natalia or Sarah. Well, Sarah, she's a rich man's wife, so she doesn't have to worry about much anything. But if you don't have the love for it, like with Bronca when she stepped away, and I talked about Bronca, she should have been the top three in 2022, but I don't know why. No offense to Hella. Hella was not her best shape. That was a year she had the shoulder injury. She came back. I felt like she needed more time. But I had the pleasure of having Hella, Irene, and Gina on. And they have the new, well, it was Team 4 Pro, but then there's a break. Now it's Transformation Company. And are you still, I think you're not, you have another coach because you're not working with, you still, in a way, compensate with Hella, but you have another coach now, don't you?
Yes, I'm still in touch with Hella regularly. Yeah, still very close. It was like that when I won the Emperor in 24, Hella was also, she was my coach then at this time, but she was qualified for the Olympia and needed to focus on herself. So she couldn't coach me for the Olympia. And then I started working with Gina. But, it is like that. It didn't really, you know how that is. Not every person really match together.
Didn't match. She didn't match.
I'm sorry. Gina is a good coach, and she's a good coach for many people, but she was not the one for me. So we had there a communication problem a little bit. So, so in the end, it was Stefan Kienzel who took me over a few weeks before the Olympia, and he made the best that he could. And I mean, Stefan is also, of course, he's one of the top coaches and everything. You hear a lot about him, but he is also not, he is not a coach for everybody. He is also like, he's very different. He's like, his communication is very short term, and you have to like that. You have to be okay with that.
Mm-hmm. As you know, he's Boss Outlaw on IG. I know he also was working with Hella and also worked with Sherry Priami at one point. I think that's the thing is you want to find a coach that really understands, especially for a woman, because you want to find a coach that understands things from your body chemistry to, like, I've talked to ladies who have to deal with things like menopause, younger ladies that can deal with menstrual cycles. Women and men are always like this. This is how you break it down. Men, our purpose in life is to battle, breed, and die. That's it. And for women, y'all the ones who are the ones that bury our children. Y'all the ones who take care of our homes. You have certain things about you that are just, I would say, totally different when you look at the men's biology. And I think when you look at competitors now, where it's good to have a coach that understands everything from top to bottom, especially when it comes to female competitors. Who are you working with now?
I still work with Stefan together. So, yes.
Yeah, so folks, what we'll do here, we got Sandra here and the opportunity to share with us. We're going to jump to her social media and we're going to jump in her IG. But guys, and she knows my rule when I say this, guys, she's a lovely lady. She has a nice smile. She is just really pleasant. It's that Swiss, hospitality she has. But you guys, us Americans who like these buff women, you get excited about them. Don't be weird. No weird stuff. When you follow her, support her, get her to get her IG to grow because we want her to grow and really get more attention. She deserves it. She works hard at it. So we're gonna jump into um, Sandra's IG, and if you want to follow her, the links in the description of this live. So here she is, and here she is at winning the Masters O qualification. What you get that big old smile? What was you feeling?
I was super happy about that. Really, I loved my shape. I was in good mood. I had so much fun backstage. I had so many good people and friends, and it was just a great time for me. And I have to say also, I liked the stage. It was nice organized. Also for the athletes, there was a lot of attention. Like you get those. I know it's not much, but sometimes you're really happy about a nice goodie bag. You feel appreciated and welcomed, and just have some fun. And yes, this other picture was the flight when I flew to Canada, and the stewardess, she was a fan of bodybuilding, and we took a picture there, and that was the start of a really nice show.
And she's an Imperio, which was what was you see that show was pretty well run, and I think the guy is I think it's Emilio, I think that's his name.
Yes.
Yeah, he's been doing this for quite some time. He used to run the the Imperial the Europa Championship, but now that's run by Dennis James. He runs that in Germany.
Yes, yes, exactly, yes. Yes, Emilio has a lot of shows. Yes, you see, he has much of experience. I was this year was a little bit disappointed. It was not like 2 years ago. It was more like you can feel that he has a lot of shows, and it's just one show more. It's not that special, but it's okay. It was Spain. It's also nice to be in Spain. There was always nice weather, sunny. I had an Airbnb in the city, and there was a festival going on. So yeah, it was a cool time there.
Yeah, here she is with Hella. Who is
Yes.
these people here?
We were in a gym here in Switzerland, and these are the guy on the right is the gym owner, and yeah, we met there and made the pictures, a fan memory picture. Yeah.
And the lady we're here with the she's very well endowed. Or she's one of the gym people work at the gym too.
She was there in the gym.
Yeah, yeah, I'm very impressed by her. And here she is. You spent some time in Arizona. You went to the Grand Canyon. And this looks nice. Maybe I wouldn't mind going myself if I get a chance.
Yes, that was really nice. Some beautiful pictures there. Yes, yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, it's nice, pretty. You look like you had a good time. You enjoyed yourself. Maybe you get the opportunity. Like I said again, if there's another show in the States that you might like, or maybe you might be interested in, here she is with a lady who's been a guest on our channel, the lovely Mrs. Michelle Brent and Brett Blings.
Yes, yeah. Michelle is. We met together. I think that was. I went once to Venice to train and visit Hele, and we met in Venice. That was 2019, and we went out for dinner and had the talk with Michelle and Bill, her husband, and they were super nice all the time. We stayed in contact. She made my jewelry for the competitions. I also the jewelry that I have here now. The little dumbbell is from Brent's Bling, and it is so nice to have people who are still in this sport and love that. And Michelle is still competing. I think. I
Yeah,
don't know if she
I
wants
think
ever to
she.
retire.
I think she told me she's going to be doing women's physique this year, and I think she's working with Gina. And
Yes.
last year she finally got to get to the Rise of Phoenix. That was the year where they made it. It wasn't no good. Last year's Rise of Phoenix wasn't invitational. Anybody can compete, but now this
Mhm.
switched back to the invitational. I told her I did an interview with both her and Mr. Bill. I said I always believe that she should have been invited a long time ago. Being she's one of the few women who's been doing bodybuilding ever since she's been a pro, ever since she started competing. And here is a video from the show. We have her and Gruber Harry, which she interviewed. I met Susan Natalia
Mhm.
Bostrová, amazing lady who's 55. She's gonna be probably about 60 and still looks pretty good. I mean, here we go. See.
Yes.
That was Anne's also her Women's Physique Olympia debut.
Yes, and
That-
also what made me super happy was Jeanette from Sweden was also there, and we were also very close together. We had some chats on Instagram, and it was a sweet time to be with her at the Olympia.
yeah. Also, there's Marianne who also interviewed some time ago. That was her. There was like I think this lineup was just mostly ladies making their Olympia debut that year. I mean, and you look really good. I mean, you did you run into Susan when you were at Imperial because she was there last month.
Yes, we talked a lot, Susan and I. She's also very lovely and open-minded, and yeah, I was a bit sad for her. She didn't win because I was rooting for her. But yes, she looked very good also.
Here she is with Mr. Olympia, Jake Cutler, and that's a legend. And also, she's giving a talk here. And this is for advertising for Brett Spleen.
Knezevic, Switzerland. I really throw an Olympian women's sea. And here I can root for his own brand Spling. I got yet a new necklace, bracelet. And there are also many necklaces and bracelets to combine here or come and shop. It's an awesome jewelry and also customized here.
That's
Hi
sweet.
guys, this is
That's sweet. And I think most every man David, he was rooting for Susan, and I felt like when she did Imperial, I'm not Imperial, the Ultima, I think she really because that was the one show that Sarah won. I feel like Susan could have won that show, but they went with Sarah, and I think the lady who won it Imperial, she's very impressive. That's her name is Julia. I don't know if Susan's going to do any more shows. She's already Masters qualified for next year's Master Olympia. Um,
Mhm.
you know, there's also she lives in Las Vegas, so she can probably do the Steve Carr show and maybe try to get qualification for next year's Olympia.
Yes, that would be awesome idea. Yes.
Yeah, I had a conversation with as again, I'm a fat man, I like food. I had this conversation with Bronca, especially in Spain. Y'all get she told me how she went out to get something to eat. It was a big celebration, but it was hard to find anything to eat because even we had to go to McDonald's, but McDonald's was crowded. What did you do for your post-show meal?
Well, I think Branka didn't say that, but we actually went together on Monday after the show and had some a lot of ice cream and cake together. Maybe she forgot about that, but this was the Monday, and I also, I had an Airbnb in right in the city, so for me, it was not a problem to find a place to eat there. So yes, I was thinking, I don't want to eat so much food because usually I have always like a little bit sensitive stomach. So when it is nice to eat things, that you're not used and you have missed for a long time, but then the stomach is a little bit upset and you spend the whole night on toilet. So that's not so funny. But yes, I tried a lot of things, and for me, it took like 2 or 3 weeks to really get back to the diet again. So I had always, when I came home, here and there, some cheat meals and some stuff that I wanted to try, and some new products that I saw on the shelf. I was thinking, let me just eat that because, yeah, I can afford.
It's nice that you go to another country and experience the cuisine there. I remember how Veronica told me because where she was staying at, they couldn't find a place to park because of the whole thing was going on. But it's an opportunity, and also it's smart not to overindulge. Like I asked that sometimes with some ladies. Some say, yeah, I get a burger, I get this, I get that. But I had a couple ladies say, we said, well, I just had some water. I sat in my motel room. I chilled out. Sometimes you don't want to hurt yourself too much, because food can hurt your process depending on what you're eating. And it's good to be smart, to do a reverse diet. So you can, let me just try to calm myself down, let my try to ease into it before I jump into like a big burger and start like, But yeah,
Yes, you have also to think it is not only the calories in the food, but also after a show, your body is a very high stress level with everything. And if you overeat or just put more stress into your body, this is not good for the whole system. you know Also the body needs some, it's not like you can switch like a switch and you change. It needs some time that you get better, also like that you got the water back and everything. It's not from one minute to the other. It needs some time, so it is better to give the body also the rest and to go easy in those things and not to overdo.
yeah. Take it easy when you're indulging. We have here one of my guests just popped up into the chat. Shout out to my kid Alex. This is my kid Alex, my nephew. I call him. He says, "Hey George, nice to meet you, Sandra." Thank you, Alex. As you know, Alex is a great kid. I got to meet him when I was at Tampa. I enjoyed my trip to Tampa when I went there, and I got to meet my dear friend Eunice. Also, I got to meet a legend in the music world, Mr. David Lee Roth. I would have never met this man in my life. And my poor broke country ass would never met this man. And also, I got to hang with, at the time, number three in the world. I got to hang with Sharaka Hinton. And then now number two in the world, I got to meet Ashley Jones. I mean, it was a great opportunity for me. And even, while I was helping Eunice with a booth. I got to meet some more legends when I was there. I got to talk to Derek Lunsford for a bit. I didn't know that guy was that short. Also, I ran into a man who used to compete when I was coming up as a kid, and that is Kevin Lavrone. And he was there with Bob Ciccarello. There's Tim Gardner, and there's also on the other side of me, Isabel Terrell. I try not to look at Isabel because she's wearing high heels, and she's not that tall, but she's wearing high heels. Isabel's very.
I met her. I met her in Toronto. She was in the hotel, like walking, and I was like, "Hey, Isabel, can we make a picture?" And she was like, "What?" That was awesome.
Yeah, I remember the first time I saw her. She actually competed was back in 2022. She was there, and I was kind of my first time there. I didn't want to bother her. I didn't want to approach her, but I should have said hello and just she looked really good then. That was the last time she competed in bodybuilding. But it was for me going to these shows. Like I said, I'm planning on going to Pittsburgh the month after next because I want to experience that. To talk to ladies, to meet people. I met a couple there. The Lawsons, the Keo who competed. She just got a pro card last year at North Americans. She won the overall women's physique title. Here she is with Jolene and also Eunice. And I got to meet her husband. Her husband is 65 years old. When I was looking at this guy, and he told me he was 60-something years old, I said, I should damn shame myself. I'm 50. This man looks better than me at 60. And, and to just the experience, to just the opportunity for myself as a fan, as a creator, to get to meet and talk to you ladies and to hear your stories and share them with them. And for you enjoy the part about being not so much a show, but about being with women who have that same common interest as you do.
Yes, absolutely. For me, it's just also like for you, this is the experience that you have. These needles and everything, this placement, you put it on a wall, you have it maybe in your apartment or in a box or wherever, and then, it's over. It's just a few minutes on stage. But the experience you make, the friendships you make, the memories with people, that we have this interview and can talk after all these years also. This is the things that last forever and is in our memory and lightens up the moments when you are feeling, for what I'm doing that. I'm doing that to share my story and be with you and to be in a community.
Because it's a community, especially for us who are I guess again, I'm not a competitor, I'm a fan. And I want to show my support. That's why I created this channel. As you know, what my story was because I was taking my mom. and I need as an outlet to dealing with her and her situation and with mine. And doing this after she was gone, this gives me a purpose. And when we, like I just talked to a young lady, who is she's planning competing in a few months to get a pro card. Tomorrow I got, and actually tomorrow, Friday I got an interview with a young lady who's probably is going to try to also try to compete, maybe later on next year to get a pro card. I got two young ladies who are competing this weekend, and I set up something for them to come back on again and talk about once they get the pro card. One is hoping that she gets a pro card. She'll make her debut in Tampa. Her name is Haley May, and she's a impressive young lady. Another lady, Lindsay Contreras, who just did a show a couple of weeks ago for regional qualification. I mean, just having this opportunity to hear y'all stories and to share it with the people out there. That people understand that you're not these big buff women that say that she's just this big muscle. She try to be a man. No, you're a woman who has a passion for a sport.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So we're not going to hold it because I think we can hear the bells ringing. So
Yeah.
So we're not going to hold Sandra too much longer because I enjoyed the opportunity to see. I would most definitely. I hope you do have the Masters here in the States, because if I do, I would love to see you. I love to give you a big hug. I might
Oh, yes.
hold you a little longer because you're a big, buff, beautiful woman. I might, as I know, I might cry. I'm a muscle person. I get to touch y'all ladies. I get excited. I don't know how to control myself, but I've learned because I was hanging with a friend of mine. Name is Christine Ware, and we hanged out we got to meet at Tampa, and we hanged out. One of my oldest niece lives in Atlanta, and I was up there visiting her for the holidays, me and my sister. And we meet up. We worked out a bit. I did pretty good, especially with Man with Two Bad Knees like Stone Cold Steve Austin. The next day, went back to afterwards. My niece has a 2-story house, and it's the I can't. I told her next to give me a heating pad and some Advil. I'd be all right. But it's a pleasure when I get to have you ladies on, and again, it's for me, it's excitement, to hear your stories, what you're going through. Like at the shows, what was the critique from the judges? You feel like you need to work on? Because again, one of the things I think is amazing is your glutes gyration is just crazy. You got to do sliced cheese with your ass.
Yes, I love my glutes. They're cool and dope. Yes, but the judges told me I need some more size, especially in Pro. They told me I need more size, arms, yes, a little more legs. I will try. I cannot. I will put it on my wish list for Christmas and birthday and whatever. But
Well, I wish I can give you what I get to give you some more size. I mean, I got some news for you. I was doing assessment. I have insurance. I was doing assessment.
Mm-hmm.
I am down to 412 pounds.
Hey, wow! Congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, last time my doctors, I was at 420, and I lost a whole 8 pounds in the last almost half a year. And when my conversation with you ladies, from the information y'all give me, stuff that really inspires me, I mean, it's a struggle. I'm not going to be perfect because, I know later I'm going to probably pop some chicken wings in the oven after I'm done because it's almost about lunchtime here. And I try to be smart, but again, I'm not perfect. I can't do like y'all do. That's a little too extreme. I have certain, taste for certain things, but from my conversation with y'all ladies, I learned some things. I learned how to, cook, a little better, prep some stuff, and just, I want to thank you. That's why I say I would love to meet you wherever you come here to the States. If it's the right show at the right time, I would love to.
Oh yes, me too. Yes, and I'm super proud of you. I'm keeping my finger crossed. Do it like you do now, and you will have more success. Just keep going.
Thank you. So, folks, we have here one more question. Shout to my man Nodos, who's in the comment section. He says, he actually says, give me a second. I thought it's Captain. He says, when your prepping is starting.
Yes, for this time we started 16 weeks out, but I have to say I had a little bit a difficult time because I was in my car at the red light, and then somebody crashed into me. So I had 2 herniated discs, and I lost strength in my arm and the feeling in my fingers. So that was 10 weeks out before the show. And actually, my doctor said he doesn't know if I need an emergency surgery. So lucky, I had about 4 to 6 weeks. I couldn't train at all. I was mainly in bed and walking. That was the most I could do. And then, the body repaired itself. Thank God, I didn't need a surgery. So I was happy I started early enough. So yeah, but usually, for me, I'm pretty lean the whole year, so it doesn't take so long to me to get shredded. I'm also a fast burner, so 16 weeks was enough time. So yeah.
Well, I hope you sue whoever hits you, because hey, you can pay for your prep if you get a good lawyer. I remember a few years ago. This was me. It was me, my mother, one of my sisters, and our cousin. We were going out and about, and this guy come and hit us from the side. I was young. I was like maybe 19, and as a teenager, it takes a lot to bump us up a little bit. But my mother, my sister, and my cousin, they had to go to the hospital because they're a little bit older. But I was sitting in the cafeteria because I was hungry. I was eating hot dogs, But I regret it. I should have went with them when and got myself. I could have got a little money, but at the time I was young. I didn't know any better. But yeah, I hope you're all right, most definitely, because you know what, it's awful to be. I know I just talked to a lady who went through some surgery just a few months ago, and that's one thing that can set back a competitor when they try to prep for a show. It just life happens, but you know what, it shouldn't be the point where it really can take you out of a sport that you love.
Yes, but you have to say, such thing can happen. It's not my fault, or it can happen anytime. So whatever you do, just enjoy the day, because you don't know what tomorrow happens. But just be in this present moment and do what you love. Have fun about that. Don't take care about what is the future in, I don't know, 5 years. That nobody of us knows. But just be happy and appreciate what you have.
Mm-hmm. And also, people, if you want to connect with Sandra, reach out to her. The link's in the description is live. If someone interested in sponsoring her, because sponsorship does cover the cost from travel to food to expenses to coaches. If you're interested in sponsorship, she's a great personality. She's a great lady. She's knowledgeable about things, computer stuff. So if you're someone who may need to work on something, maybe building a program, something like that, she can get her nerd to do that for y'all. But reach out and genuine interest, guys. Don't be the weird guy. Don't be the guy that says, "Yeah, she's a Swedish meatball for me." Hey, you sick freak. This is my friend. Be nice. We got here a comment from my man Alex. Shout out to Alex. He's always been a good kid. Love you, son. He says this. Keep it up, George. I will, Sandra. Thanks for advice. Appreciate that, brother. We thank you. He's a great kid. We do every Monday I do my live. He comes on. He's a great kid. So, you have anybody want to shout out before we let you go?
No, just thank you for listening. Thank you for having me on this interview. And yes, have fun. Have a nice day.
You too. Appreciate that. Wish you the best of luck. And again, she is now Master Olympic qualified. So once we get the announcement, I'm honestly hoping it's in the States, because I would love to meet her and several ladies who have been interviewed guests on. I will have a good time. You see this guy say all these buff chicks and say, "Hey, these are all my girlfriends." Be jealous, be hating, But again, folks, shout out to her. Congratulations. Wish her best of luck in this next year, whatever. If anybody been out of bodybuilding, support these men and women who do this sport. This is a tough sport. It's not meant for everybody, but you have a passion for it, follow your passion. So we have to thank the lovely Sandra for coming through. Shout out to my guests that came through. Shout out to No Dose. Shout out to my young nephew, Alex. Shout out to who watched this live. Appreciate it, folks. I hope you enjoy this upcoming weekend. This is your man always, George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body. Oh no. He has to say something to you, Sandra, before you actually go. I want to tell you something, Sandra. You are beautiful. He can let you go without saying that. So, folks, we appreciate Sandra going through. Best of luck to her at upcoming shows and also her future in the sport of bodybuilding. Anyway, it's man always, George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Don't like, subscribe. Good night, good luck, God bless, and I'll see y'all next time.